We have Mr. Franklin Chamorro here, who is a PhD student from the University of Vigo, who's going to talk about the nutritional benefits of bluefin tuna, blue shark, and shortfin mako shark that he's currently researching into. Good morning. In principle, I would like to thank FIP Blues for giving me the chance to speak here today and allowing the people from the University of Vigo to show the research project that we have about the nutritional benefits in the species blue shark, shortfin mako shark, and bluefin tuna. I would also like to share the greeting of Dr. Jesus Miguel and Miguel Angel Prieto, both research project leaders who unfortunately cannot talk here today. But briefly, we would like to explain what this project is about. The goal of the project is to give the scientific community and the public in general provide them with some information about the nutritional benefits underlying consumption of these species. We have many supporters in the project, such as producers organizations such as OPROMAR, OPP 51, OPP 07, Lugo, Carbopesca, etc., and collaborators such as Mascato, University of Vigo, CILAB, and Espaderos del Atlántico. So who are we? The University of Vigo has a research group, which is A1, which is agri-food and agri-environmental research, with the purpose of doing research into the different slabs across the value chain of food in order to enhance food safety. These are the project leaders: Dr. Simal Gander, Dr. Angel Prieto Laje, Ramon Encajal, researcher, and some hired researchers, such as two cooperating researchers. So I'm going to describe the lines of research. The University of Vigo has several lines of research to be developed in the next 3 to 4 years, which is going to give rise to a dissertation containing information about the nutritional benefits and some other pieces of information related to these species. We also want to study the repeatability and consumption frequency of the fish, also absorption studies about nutrients and pollutants such as mercury. But in order to do that, we need to study the bioavailability and bioaccessibility. And we also need to propose methodologies for diminishing the bioavailability of mercury. Now, in order to discuss the nutritional benefits, we need to understand the composition of the food, of any type of food in reality. We need to say that seafood products contribute to 14% of the total protein taken in by people in the whole world. And the species under study are integrated mainly by proteins. They are protein rich, between 16 to 21% of the total weight is high biological value proteins. They are also lipid rich, not so much with regard to percentage, but also with regard to the type of fatty acids. They're also rich in vitamins and minerals. All of these nutritional composition will depend on different factors, such as species, environmental factors, age, migrating behavior, and also food sources. We may see here the nutritional composition from the point of view of macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates of the 4 species under study. For instance, we can look at the percentage of protein. 100 grams of the fish provides between 17 to 23 grams of protein. We have also compared the daily intake recommendation for men and women, and we can see that these species meet between 34 to 42% of intake. Just 100 grams of consumption contributes from 32 to 42% of the daily protein recommendation for males. With regard to lipids, although the contribution is not as high as in the case of protein, we may highlight the type of lipids they provide. We need to remember that these are fatty species, but they provide important fatty acids such as omega-3, which I will be talking about later. It's not just important to highlight the amount of proteins they provide, but also the fact that these proteins provide considerable benefits. They are top quality proteins because of the low level of collagen and the better digestibility. The protein digestibility in these species is around 95% compared to red meat. They also provide essential amino acids such as lysine, methionine, threonine, tryptophan, because our bodies cannot synthesize these amino acids, therefore you need to eat them with food. These proteins provide immunoglobulins, which can serve as defense mechanisms against viral and bacterial infections. They can also prevent protein-caloric malnourishment. They also provide anti-inflammatory effects, which decreases pro-inflammatory cytokines, avoiding the accumulation of macrophage in the injury site. With regard to lipids, we can see that their percentage is not too high. However, the quality of lipids is of essence here because they are rich in saturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids such as omega-3, which provide numerous benefits that we'll be talking about later on. If we take a look at the screen, you can see that 100 grams of these species provide a higher amount than what is recommended by the international organisms, such as, for instance, 250 milligrams of omega-3 daily, so as to keep a good cardiac health. And the AHA recommends a consumption of at least 2 species of fat fish per week. And also for heart disease patients, they should take 1 gram of omega-3 daily. It is described that omega-3 fatty acids improve brain function, decrease inflammation, they balance the heart pressure, the blood pressure, they prevent obesity, they decrease the risk of renal disease, etc. And continuing with vitamins, we have seen how they are rich in basic vitamins, particularly those which are fat soluble, such as A and D, and among the water soluble vitamins, they provide niacin B3, pyridoxine B6, and cobalamin B12. Why do we highlight the intake of these vitamins? We know that these vitamins contribute to the maintenance of mucous tissue. They protect vision. They also contribute to the absorption of calcium and iron. They also help the immune system and the cell differentiation processes. And if we look at, for instance, swordfish can provide 50% of vitamin A daily requirements. With regard to the D vitamin, we need to highlight its presence because we know that vitamin D enhances calcium absorption, and it also plays a key role in the nervous, muscle, and immunitary systems. For instance, the blue shark and swordfish can provide 50% of daily vitamin D requirements, and bluefin tuna 150%. With regard to water-soluble vitamins, now we know and we should highlight that vitamin B3 contributes to a normal energy metabolism. It protects the nervous system and the maintenance of mucous tissue and skin. It also decreases fatigue and tiredness. Vitamin B6 contributes to the hormonal regulation. Vitamin B12 contributes to the creation of red blood cells, cell metabolism, nervous function, and DNA production. For instance, by taking 100 grams of any of these fish species, you can get up to 80% of the daily requirements of those three vitamins. Now, with regard to minerals, we know that these species are abundant in different minerals. Currently, we are highlighting those minerals that they have in a highest proportion. Of course, they also have iron, they also have iodine, other minerals that are also present, but the most abundant minerals contained in those fish species are the ones covered in this presentation. For instance, copper. These species contain copper, which are important because they contribute to enzymatic functions of the immune system. Magnesium, for instance, they also are cofactors in a wide range of important enzymes, and their decrease, or rather their deficiency, may result in a deficient reproductive system functioning and a delay in growth, or even congenital malformations. Selenium now is another important mineral contained by the species. And selenium is important because it binds to several selenoproteins that are very important for antioxidant systems in our bodies. And selenium can also protect against different environmental pollutants. Therefore, the fish may have a system so as to counteract the damage caused by environmental pollutants. However, we do not focus the talk on these factors. We just wanted to highlight the nutritional benefits. So we know these species also contain zinc, which is important because zinc contributes to metabolic functions of RNA and DNA. And zinc also fosters the stability of the structure of a wide range of cell proteins. Well, just to summarize on a table all of these factors, showing not just the amount of nutrients, but also the percentage content in grams. Normally, we explain the nutritional tables based on the consumption of 100 grams, although usually we have more than 100 grams. But for pedagogical purposes, the amounts refer to 100 grams. So we have summarized not just the type of nutrients, but also the amount. So we can say that these species provide positive and protective factors against cardiovascular disease, neurological disease, and metabolic disease. And just to conclude, we can say that the nutritional composition of these species provides a minimum of 30% of the daily protein requirement for adults, male and female. They also contain considerable amounts of polyunsaturated fatty acids, mainly EPA and DHA, and they also provide vitamins such as A and D, also some of the B complex, plus important minerals that contribute to mitigating the damage from disease and also from diseases related to oxidative processes, just selenium. Thank you. Thank you very much, Franklin, for your very interesting presentation.